you feel like Olandria and Nic's relationship is real? Is this you thinking, or is this your answer? I'm gonna assume that that's your answer.
Ace's age and ego showed in that interview. It didn't give wisdom, it gave 23-year-old pride. And honestly, if he truly cared for Alandria as a friend, those concerns about Nic should have been handled privately, not on a podcast, not in front of the world, because here's the truth. Nic has been calling, supporting, showing love. Ace has been ducking, dodging, and then finally airing it all online. That's not loyalty, that's strategy. And if you're catching the pattern here, the jealousy, the calculated silence, the wedge he's trying to drive, make sure you hit subscribe. You don't want to miss the rest of this breakdown.
You know what I realized as I was responding to your comment? Ace is jealous of Alandria too. That's the bromance that he was supposed to get. Like, he was supposed to get photo shoots like that with him, Taylor, and Nic. Nic was supposed to bring him in on the Kalani deal. Nic was supposed to bring him on Aquadega Fair. Nic was supposed to give him access, the access that he's giving to Alandria. They were supposed to be bros. Their bromance is supposed to be bigger than PPG's sisterhood. It's supposed to be bigger than Shelly and Alandria's sisterhood, their soul sistership, right? I think that is another layer. Like, I think he's jealous, and he's jealous for a lot of reasons, but I think that definitely is a part of it. Because they definitely had a bromance brewing in the villa. They even talked about them being the Stooges. I remember them talking about coming up with a name for themselves. So it's no wonder he wants to drive a wedge between Ola and Shelly. It's all intentional. He's very calculated. He's had enough time. This interview was filmed the day after the reunion. He's had enough time to consume content, and it's clear that he watched the whole episode, the whole season. A lot of people haven't watched the season. It sounds very much from what I've watched like he watched the season, from him talking about what parts were clipped and what parts were put together and what parts were whatever. He had to watch it. I'm assuming he watched the season based on that. He's had all of this time to really craft what he wanted to say, and this was what he came up with. This was intentional. This was calculated. He knew exactly what he was doing. He wants to put a wedge between Shelly and Alandria. He wants to draw a wedge between them. It's all a part of it. I've been talking about Ace, and let me say this. I said in this video, I said us and I said we, and I really regret saying that because people are in the comments saying like, oh, I don't know how y'all didn't see it. I don't know how you was blinded by it. I don't know how you... I've been on to Ace. I've been talking about Ace since I started watching the season late. I did not start watching when the season first came on. Last season was my first season. I wasn't really sure if I was going to come back again because it was really traumatic, watching Serena and Cordell finally get to the love. So I wasn't sure. And then people started talking about Alandria, and there was all this discourse about Hood, and I was like, okay, black women are on it. I really want to see what's happening. And so then I started watching, and like almost around the time that I started watching, you will see I was making videos and I was talking about Ace. I was talking about how he was manipulative. I even made a video and I said that he reminds me of Rob from last season. Like, I feel like a lot of people liked Rob, and a lot of people didn't recognize how calculated and how like just Rob, there was something about that man. Like, I really felt like he got off on hurting women, and I got that same energy from Ace, and I started talking about it right away. I'm gonna see if I might have to make a Love Island folder. I think that'll help. And then when people say that, I can say check the folder. There you go.
This isn't just about one shady podcast moment. It's a pattern. Ace has been calculated for a while, waiting, watching, and then choosing the exact moment to strike. And the fallout? It doesn't just hit Nic. It drags Alandria and even Shelly into collateral damage. Think about it. Instead of protecting the women closest to him from online hate, he gave the haters fuel. He opened the door for more think pieces, more negativity, more speculation, all for his ego. And that silence during the interview, that wasn't maturity. That was pettiness disguised as restraint. Here's what stings most. Alandria has a history of forgiving people who don't deserve her grace. From Taylor choosing Clark, to Ace turning his back in the most public way possible, she still finds room to rationalize their behavior. But that's not strength. That's conditioning, oldest daughter energy, always carrying everyone else's burdens, always excusing disrespect. At some point, the math has to math. When someone publicly humiliates you, loyalty means cutting ties, not handing out second chances. And before we roll the next clip, if you believe Alandria deserves better than constant betrayal, drop a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe, because this isn't the end of the story.
The most upsetting thing about all of this is that no matter how annoyed, frustrated, angry we are at Ace, In a few business days, and I'm speaking on par to behavioral patterns, in a few business days, Alandria is going to be over this shit. Alandria and Ace are going to be cool. You're going to see Alandria and Ace doing some interview, this, at a function together, like whatever it is. Because that's just on par with how Alandria has acted. Alandria is the most forgiving and understanding person to every single one of her ops that I have ever seen in my entire life. It's actually insane. Like, I'm telling you, this is a conversation me and my girlfriends literally had before all this whole Ace situation happened, because we're talking yet again about the whole Taylor situation. And one of my girlfriends was like, well, you know, she said that we didn't see a lot of, you know, like all the things that Taylor was telling her. Taylor was like convincing her that they were cool. That's why she had an allegiance to him. I'm like, no, but I still call bullshit, because during the time that man had to decide who he wanted to be with, and he picked Clark over you, which literally means in Love Island code, him picking Clark over you when y'all came back from Casa, that initial decision where he picked Clark over you, that was him saying he's okay with you getting sent home. That was him saying he's okay with you getting the heck out of this villa. That is all the wake-up call I personally would need. And I hate to be like, I would have done differently, but I'm so serious. That is all the wake-up call that one would need to know this person doesn't value me. This person doesn't really like me. I don't care what this person says tomorrow. I don't care if I'm safe in the house and this person comes up to me tomorrow and goes, yeah, I know I almost let you go home last night, but I would still like to talk to you. Absolutely fucking not. Because if you still wanted to talk to me and I was already your number one for the past 2 weeks, you would have picked me and you would have let the coins be tossed for Clark and hope that her ass stays. That would have just logically made sense. You can't come to me and convince me that, oh, you really still like me, oh, you're still into me, oh, there's still vibes, after you quite literally made a decision that would have sent me home. There was no one else that I was locked in with. I would have gone home. So the math just isn't mathing. She forgave that shit. Then let's talk about Ace. This whole shit happened today. But let's go back to the fact that this was the same man who your biggest op told, I'm not physically attracted to that woman in the villa. You came out of the villa. You watched with your own eyes as your man's, Taylor, told Ace, I'm not attracted to her. And Ace is supposed to be your bro. Ace deserved the Kendall treatment. Y'all remember season 6 of Love Island when Serena said, Kendall, get out my face. And she said, I don't F with Kendall like that no more. And even Beyond the Villa, which recently aired, Beyond the Villa, you still see that Serena's still carrying the I can't fucking stand Kendall torch. Just simply off the fact that when they went to Casa, Kendall, who was supposed to be her bro, her friend, Kendall was the one gassing up Cordell and the other boys to cheat on their girls in the main villa. Just because of that, Serena said, I don't F with you. It's up and it's stuck and it's done. I'm talking like, we're talking half a year later. Serena's still saying, get away from me, Kendall. Like, me and Kendall are not cool like that because of that shit that he pulled in Casa. That is the treatment that Ace deserved. But did Alandria give Ace that treatment? No. Ace has been her bro. Ace got the villain edit. Ace is my boy. Ace is the dog. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That's why his ass said, Alandria's my dog. Alandria's your dog, but you went on a freaking talk show and humiliated her globally. You knew that would humiliate her. I don't care what kind of beef you have with Nick today. If Alandria's your dog, the bare minimum, the bare fucking bones would be for you to be like, I don't know nothing about that. Or for you to say, y'all know Nic Olandria, y'all know Nic Olandria, it is what it is. That would have been the bare bones for you to dismiss that shit. For you to not even have an answer for that shit. But instead you wanted to be petty as fuck. That silent was so damn petty. But let's not even stop there. The Huda situation. We're sitting at the reunion and Alandria has the goal to say, Huda, I love you, but... Girl, I love you, but what? Why are we even saying girl, I love? Like, what is this? Someone you looked out for the entire time you was in that damn house. You came out, that person couldn't even denounce racism on your behalf. And the Huda stands and the people who are trying to do mental gymnastics to rationalize and say, oh, I think Huda would have defended Alandria. She just didn't feel comfortable defending Shelly. Okay, that could have happened still. That still could have happened. Like, y'all understand that, right? Y'all understood Huda could make a statement that was like, oh, I do not support racism. Like, please, if you're from my base, do not be saying anything racist. My girl Alandria doesn't deserve any of that. Like, Alandria's a really great person. Huda could have said that, and she didn't. So even trying to do the mental gymnastics that y'all love to do for Huda, please. But this is not even about her. This is not about nothing. This is about the fact that Alandria has a pattern of forgiving people and understanding people who quite literally hate her low-key. Like, who quite literally have weird-ass fucking vendettas because they don't act like friends. They don't even... Bottom of the fucking barrel, they don't even act like strangers. Because I'm telling you, a stranger would not even be speaking about you in this way. All that shit happened with Clark and Taylor, and Alandria got out that villa, and she was over there making little videos with them. She was over there being buddy-buddy with them, and I was very much confused. And as soon as she got up out their orbit, they was over there clowning her. I'm just really frustrated when I see Black women allowing their energy to be so accessible. Especially energy that's that creme. Like, obviously people want to orbit around you. Obviously people don't want to be around you. Like, you really are that girl. You're the main character. You don't even win, and you're the main character. And you have all these people who literally don't want to see you win, who literally don't want to see you do good, all in your face, all in your orbit. It's concerning. It's alarming. And as much as I'm like, I don't get it, I was sitting here processing, like, why would she do that? What would she do? And I said, oh yes, she's the oldest daughter. She's the oldest daughter in a Black household, in a Black single mom household. So she's used to having to quite literally mediate everybody's moods, emotions, and needs. Quite literally having to anticipate that shit, having to know where she needs to be, who she needs to be, how she needs to show up for everybody in her family, having to care for her siblings like they were hers, having to be her mama's therapist, her mama's partner, her mama's best friend, her mama's daughter, her mama's big sister, everything. So she's so used to putting her needs and her respect to the side to prioritize everybody else. That's why I feel like it's so easy for Alandria to understand where people are coming from when they do her dirty. To rationalize like, oh, maybe it was a setting. Maybe they didn't mean this. Maybe they didn't understand the question. Maybe they didn't get this. Like, to constantly be doing rationalization for why people are doing you dirty. And I just need her to deck that shit because she deserves so much more than this. And it's upsetting. It's upsetting as an Alandria fan to just keep seeing this shit happen. And it's becoming a pattern where I'm like, respectfully, Alandria just got too much room for people that don't fuck with her. She needs to start cutting people off, like left, right, center. No questions asked. Don't talk to me never again. If you're in the space with me, no, I'm not taking this interview. Because I feel like at this point in time, you do have the power to do shit like that. You do have the power to be like, if they're there, I'm not gonna pull up. Because I bet you more brands want to see you than they want to see Ace. I'm so sorry.
At the end of the day, this isn't just drama. It's a reminder of how often Black women, especially someone like Alandria, are forced to carry the weight of everyone else's mess while still showing grace. She deserves better. She deserves loyalty that doesn't come with conditions, silence, or betrayal. And honestly, watching this play out is frustrating because patterns like this only stop when the person being hurt finally says enough. If you've ever been in a situation where your kindness was taken for weakness, you already know how exhausting it can be. That's why conversations like these matter. So, if you're here because you care about the truth, about accountability, and about protecting people like Alandria from being dragged through unnecessary pain, hit that subscribe button. Join this community because we're not just spilling tea, we're making sure the right people are heard.